Hi there, I'm Annabelle Nelson, HID faculty, and I'm going to share some of the things I find delightful of being a faculty at Fielding. And one of those is qualitative research. And this video blog is about how to choose your qualitative genre. So here we go. So what do all the words mean that you hear around Fielding? Epistemology, phenomenology, hermeneutics, participant action research, ethnography, there's many more. I've heard new students say, hey, I know how to use epistemology now, or I know what phenomenology is. So epistemology is a section of philosophy about human methods of knowing. So we at Fielding like you to find your epistemological stance. You know, how do you think the best way is to create knowledge? And out of that will become your choice of a qualitative methodology. Now, some people say you should have your research question before you choose your methodology. I think that's pretty good advice. I'm not going to go into research questions on this short video blog, but I just want to keep that in the back of your head. It's okay to shop around about what qualitative methodology you want to use, and maybe you don't really need to hone it down until you are working with your mentor about your research question, or in some of the courses like Foundations of Inquiry, qualitative research, so forth. Now, qualitative methodologies share certain epistemological frameworks. So all of them in general believe in constructivist knowledge, that you as a researcher are co-creating knowledge with your participants or your other means of collecting data. Like if you're doing ethnography and you're out doing a field journal, well, you're interacting with an environment with people. So together you're co-creating data. So the whole issue of objectivity is not really part of this epistemology, but you do need awareness. It's not like you go out and prove your opinions. You do need a method. Now, the other part that we share in qualitative research genres is human experience in context. So qualitative research isn't about having freshmen in a little room in a building on a university campus playing games to find out something about how jealousy works in a game. So you're not on, you know, they talk about the University on the Hill. You're not the University on the Hill studying things. You're out there looking at humans in their life. And part of this is it includes emotional and cultural content, and it includes societal content. And I think people sometimes are confused that they mix quantitative and qualitative epistemology. Like they think, oh, I need a hypothesis to do qualitative research. Well, you're really not in the business of proving something or disproving something. So here's some of the different traditions that Fielding students use as a method in their dissertation data collection. We can see them here: phenomenology, action research, narrative, participant action research, phenomenography, grounded theory, case study, ethnography, autoethnography, critical race theory. Now, the thing about qualitative research is some words overlap. So you might hear someone say, oh, I'm going to go out and collect a narrative, which means you might interview someone. But narrative is also a research methodology that you might choose to use. So you will see overlapping. And I taught a course one time, it was qualitative research, and I tried to get a research article that listed all these different methodologies. And I found frequently that the data collection and the data analysis was very similar. So you don't be confused about seeing the same words here and there, or seeing overlap in the actual methods. So how do you choose a methodology? Well, one thing is what clicks for you. You know, I talk about when I help people with research questions, if they get a clunk, like, yeah, that's my research question. So it could be that as you read journal articles, as you read books defining these different methodologies like Cresswell's book, or Marshall and Russman is one I like a lot, Designing Qualitative Research, it just like clicks for you. What I've done here is list some of the methodologies and a word I've chosen to kind of say, this is what this methodology emphasizes. So you can actually say you're using an open-ended qualitative methodology. You don't actually need to choose these specific things. And the word I have there is life in context. Narrative is about empowering voice of people that haven't been heard before, like Black feminists. Phenomenology, if you ever hear lived experience, you want to really dive deep and do what we call iterative circles with data, really with your questions, get rich description. So you really want the experience. Heuristics is about, it's a form of phenomenology by a man named Moustakis, and he wants interaction. He wants you to go out and talk to people that have similar experiences than you do. Participant action research, you're out there doing things with people. Like Freire worked with story circles in the favelas in Rio de Janeiro to say, what's your life about? And then they started saying, well, this is my life, and let's take some political action to improve it. Co-inquiry, where maybe you have the research question generated with your participants. Grounded theory. Now, grounded theory, there's many different grounded theories. And even in classical grounded theory, there's two main branches. So be careful if you choose this. Certainly you can choose it, but you need to position yourself within that whole genre. Constructivist grounded theory seems to be a good modern day one, I think, that doesn't have so many specifics about how you go about. Ethnography comes from anthropology. You're out there taking field notes, observing. Hermeneutics, you're looking at a text, like, for example, the Jewish scholars looking at the Torah and reading that text over and over. I had a student who did one on Snow White and really delved into this text of this fairy tale. Case study, you're looking at one example. In depth, you need multiple data sources for case study. Autoethnography, you're really using your own experience and evoking certain memories to find out, create new knowledge and find out themes. Most of these, I'm not dealing with data collection, data analysis on this short video blog, but most of these have certain type of data analysis, and many times you create themes, either by coding or reading and getting a holistic view. But sometimes, like for example, in heuristics, you actually make a composite story of all the interviews. So if you do choose one of these, and you will, because you're doing a dissertation, make sure that you get references about what it is, and you get journal articles. I can't emphasize enough getting journal articles that are using these methodologies. Well, there's another way, or maybe this is an additional way to choose your methodology. And I'm using Keith Melville's cocktail party metaphor. Like, when you decide where you're going to focus your research, who's the group at the cocktail party or the tea party that you want to hang out with? And so once you get your dissertation research, you can publish it in a journal and you can go to conferences and present them. So I think there's a really good approach that I've used in my career is I find journal articles that are like I would write, that they fit my personal epistemological stance. And I see what methods they are using. And then I know to stand on their shoulders when I'm choosing your methodology. So these are just a few hints for you in choosing a methodology. And I'll say goodbye if I can turn off the recording.